Wintricity. Today's energy crisis is at the forefront of many political and ethical debates. When you walk into a room and flip on a light switch, do you wonder how the electricity arrived to that point? Don't worry, you are not alone. Most people don't even give it a second thought. Today's consumers become focused on using the electricity and not concerned with how the electricity is produced. The debate over our dependence on fossil fuels has been around for a long time. However, alternative energy sources are also being looked into. Wintricity has been at the top of that debate. It may be difficult to understand, but wintricity is not the solution to our energy crisis. Let's examine the disadvantages against wind farms, from the impact on the property values to the environmental impact, and finally the health impact the turbines that capture wintricity cause. One of the negatives has been the NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard syndrome. Property values decrease in areas where wind turbines are visible. The amount of wind turbines to produce enough electricity is large, so the area needed to develop those farms is also large. The needed space continues to impede into more residential area. One single turbine can only produce enough electricity for 475 homes. So how many wind turbines would be needed for 100,000 people? The legislation is pushy about developing these wind farms, and many areas are pushing back. People feel like the blatant disregard for a person's personal property must be stopped immediately. Legislators seem to be leaning on the anti-NIMBY crusade to convince common Americans that it is selfish to protest against the progress of green electricity. Finally, the visual impact it has in neighboring areas of wind farms also hinders the ability to sell and the desire to purchase homes near these wind farms. Wind turbines have had an environmental impact on wildlife. Dead birds and dead bats are killed by the blades of the turbine. The fast-moving blades are hard for the birds and bats to see, therefore it kills them instantly. In 2002, a study in Spain estimated that over 11,000 birds of prey, 350,000 bats, and over 3 million small birds were killed each year by the wind turbines and their power lines. The destruction of wildlife habitats has a negative impact on the hunting and recreational areas near the wind farms as well. Prairie birds are especially affected by disturbance of these habitats, and construction on the mountain ridges diminishes important forest. Many areas of forest habitat are destroyed in construction of a wind project. It requires miles of clearing and grading to construct the wind farms. This continued land clearing and deforestation counteracts the green initiative that Wintricity is supposed to help. Also, the amount of fossil fuel needs to be taken into account that is used for the initial clearing, setting, transporting of the equipment to the area, and housing the wind farms. Tons upon tons of concrete and gravel are used to mount the wind turbines. This concrete and gravel takes the place of the natural habitat that once lined the natural hillsides and mountains that the wind turbines have taken over. Wind turbines can cause debilitating health problems for people who live near them. Health concerns from a noise associated with the turning blades. These giant windmills operate at an optimum efficiency of about 30 miles an hour. The noise from one turbine at 30 miles an hour is at the same level as a family car traveling at 70 miles per hour. A current study of the Johns Hopkins University is looking to a syndrome deemed the wind turbine syndrome. This turbine causes a number of adverse health effects, such as crippling headaches, nosebleeds, and constant ringing in the ears. Scientists have also begun studying the phenomenon. Some early findings suggest that the wind turbines create a high-intensity, low-frequency sound that may affect the body. Not only can the sound potentially cause debilitating illness, some researchers believe the vibrations that the sound causes in the inner ear may lead to vibroacoustic disease. This causes dizziness, nausea, and sleep disturbances. These health risks are not far outweighed by the green energy benefits that are gained from Wintricity. The reality is that no one in the world has Wintricity ever replaced or caused the closure of fossil fuel plants. All the aspects will only become worse, and even small part of the industry plants for hundreds of thousands of wind turbines becomes reality across the United States. However, the negative impact must of course be weighed against the benefits. It is wise to research and seek alternative energy sources so that we can diversify the source of our energy, but the money and legislative efforts invested in large-scale wind farms can be spent more effectively to achieve the goal of reducing our use of fossil and nuclear fuels. Until more research can be done and the positive effects are proven to outweigh the negative benefits, Wintricity is simply not the answer to the green energy initiative.